Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a very special guest. The one and only Ashanti is here to open up about her relationship with Nelly in a way she's never done before. These two have had a rollercoaster of a love story over the past 2 decades, and Ashanti is finally ready to share the full story behind their recent rekindling. Ashanti, thank you so much for joining me today. I know this is a very personal topic, so I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down and chat with me. Ashanti, thank you so much for having me. You're right, this is a very personal story, but I feel like it's finally the right time to share it. Nelly and I have been through a lot together, and I think it's important for people to understand the full context of our relationship. For those who may not be familiar, Ashanti and Nelly first started dating back in the early 2000s. They were one of the hottest celebrity couples at the time, with hit collaborations like Body on Me, and constant public appearances together. But in 2013, after over a decade together, the two suddenly broke up and went their separate ways. It was a shock to fans, and the two of them kept very quiet about the reasons behind the split. Ashanti, what was it like going through that public breakup? I can't imagine how difficult that must have been. Ashanti, it was an incredibly challenging time, both personally and professionally. Nelly and I had built this life together, and when it all fell apart, it was devastating. There was so much love there, but also a lot of complexities that the public didn't see. The breakup was messy and emotional, and it took a huge toll on both of us. We both retreated from the spotlight for a while, trying to heal and move forward. It was really hard. But then, a few years ago, something changed. You and Nelly started popping up together again, looking closer than ever. What was it that brought you two back together? Ashanti, you know, it's funny, I never thought Nelly and I would find our way back to each other. After the breakup, I really thought that chapter of my life was closed for good. But then, about 3 years ago, we reconnected in a way I never expected. I was working on some new music, trying to get back into the studio after taking some time off, and Nelly reached out, saying he wanted to collaborate. At first, I was hesitant, the wounds from our split were still so fresh. But there was just something about reconnecting with him creatively that made me open up again. As we spent more time together working on the music, I started to remember all the reasons I had fallen in love with him in the first place. His humor, his passion, his drive, it was all still there. And suddenly, I found myself falling for him all over again. Ashanti, you know, I think a big part of it was just time and perspective. When we first broke up, it felt like the end of the world. But after a few years of healing and growth, I was able to look back on our relationship with fresh eyes. I realized that despite all their ups and downs, the core of what we had was still so special. Nelly had been my best friend, my partner, my everything for over a decade. And I missed that deep connection we shared, but more than that, I think I fell back in love with Nelly because of how much we had both evolved as people. We had both been through so much, individually and together. And when we reconnected, there was this new level of understanding and appreciation for each other. We had both made mistakes in the past, but we had also learned from them. And I think that ultimately made us stronger as a couple. We were able to come back together with a new level of maturity and commitment. That's such a beautiful and insightful perspective. For anyone out there who might be considering reconnecting with an ex, what advice would you give them? Ashanti, my biggest piece of advice would be to approach it with an open mind and heart. Don't hold on to the bitterness or hurt from the past. Instead, really focus on how much you've both grown and evolved. It's also important to take things slowly and not rush back into anything. Rebuild that foundation of friendship and trust first. Make sure you're both in a good place individually before trying to jump back into a relationship. And most importantly, be honest and communicate openly. Don't shy away from the tough conversations. Talk through what went wrong before, and make sure you're both on the same page about what you want moving forward. If you do that, and you're both truly committed to making it work, then I believe there's a real chance at rekindling that old flame. It takes a lot of work, but it can be so worth it. That's such valuable advice, Ashanti. I'm so glad you and Nelly were able to find your way back to each other after all these years. It's a testament to the power of love and growth. Thank you again for being so vulnerable and sharing your story with us today. I have no doubt that this will inspire a lot of people out there who may be going through similar situations. Ashanti, thank you so much for having me. It really means the world to me to be able to share this part of my story. If it can help even one person who's going through a breakup or trying to reconnect with an ex, then it will all be worth it. Love is never easy, but it's always worth fighting for. Nelly and I are proof of that. And I'm so grateful to have him by my side again. Well, there you have it, everyone. An incredibly powerful and inspiring story from the one and only Ashanti. I hope you all took some valuable lessons from this conversation. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if you enjoyed it. And let me know in the comments, have you ever rekindled an old flame? What was that experience like for you? Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.